Hello Booktube and welcome to my bookshelves. So today I am going to do a book haul, and it's been an exciting couple of weeks. I had a book spa in Bath, which I mentioned in my last video, and got lots of lovely books. I will talk about that in a moment, but first of all, WH Smith's were having a sale on, and it was buy one and get one for £1. So I've got two of those, and the ones I have bought, and these are two authors I've not read before. I've seen them all over the place, very, very popular, but I've not actually read any. First one is Peter James, and this one is Perfect People, and I've seen this reviewed on another Booktube channel, can't remember which one, and it had a good review, so I saw that and I thought, oh, buy one get one for £1, I'll have that. And the second one is an author I've always wanted to get round to, but again haven't, and this is his first in a series, and that is Mark Billingham, Sleepyhead. This is a Tom Thorne thriller, and there's quite a few of these out now, but this is the first one. Yeah, so looking forward to starting these two. I then went into The Works, which is a discount book chain in the UK, and yeah, they sell lots of cheap books, and they do a 3 for £5 on some of their books. They don't have a huge range, but every so often you'll find three that you want. First one is a Stephen King one I haven't read before, and that is Cell, and I believe this is about mobile phones and a virus, and every time you use your phone something bad happens. I've not read this one, so that'll be one I will get round to at some point. And the next two authors are again two authors I keep seeing all over the place, get good reviews, but I've not tried. So first one is Peter Robinson, and that is All of the Colours of the Darkness. And Stephen Booth, and this is The Corpse Bridge. And again, not read anything from these authors, so I'll be looking forward to trying these authors. So that was 5 books I bought just in town, shopping, browsing. And then last week I had a book spa, and it was wonderful. Now, it's run by Mr. B's Emporium. I've got Mr. B's Emporium, and it's in Bath, an independent bookshop in Bath, and it's an absolutely brilliant bookshop. You really must go if you're in Bath. But you can buy book spas, and you get a voucher. You have to book in advance and book a time slot. And my wife bought me this voucher for a birthday. I think it was not the last one, but one before that. Been trying to arrange going, and yeah, finally did it this week. So what happens in a book spa? So you are greeted in the bookshop, taken to a corner of the bookshop. This was in the non-fiction section, and there was a fire, and we were comfy chairs, and we were given tea and cake, and made to feel, really comfortable. And then a member of staff will chat to you about books and your reading habits, what your likes and dislikes, who you've read, who you want to read, and the genres. And they'll spend a good 10-15 minutes just chatting to you about books. The member of staff will then go away, and she will go shopping for you, and she will choose books from the store that she thinks or he thinks will meet your reading tastes. And then while she's gone, you have tea and cake, and it's all very cosy. And then she'll come back, and she brought back about 20 books. 20 books from the store. And then you spend another half an hour or so, and she'll tell you all about these books and why she thinks you would like them. and we'll go through them all, and then at the end of the day she'll leave you alone and said, right, you know, you have, so when you get a voucher you have a certain amount of money. This one was £45. I think you can get different amounts, but this one was £45. So you can then choose from those 20 books £45 worth of books. So you can choose, say, 6 books. I think I got 7 to show you. I think we had slightly over, so you have to pay the extra. But I think I got 7 books out of the 20, and it's really difficult because all of the 20 books were ones I quite fancy. I quite fancy reading those. There was a couple that one that I'd read before, and another author that I think I'd read before, but the rest of them were all brand new authors to me, brand new books, and they were all very, very interesting. But I came away with 7 books. Some of them are quite surprising. I mean, obviously I went through and I said I like detective fiction, especially Golden Age, and I haven't really read much fantasy apart from Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, which I gave up on. I haven't really read much fantasy or sci-fi, and I wasn't really expecting her to bring me any sort of fantasy or sci-fi. But there was a few in there, and to be honest, I quite liked them, and a couple of them I actually chose. So let's get to the Book Spa books. So the first one she picked out for me, or the first one I chose from the 20 that she picked out for me, is called the Strangler Vine by M.J. Carter. And this is a Blake and Avery adventure. Never heard of this before, but as soon as she started reading the blurb, I knew I was going to like it. Set in India in 1837, and it's an adventure mystery story about an insurance, somebody who works for an insurance company, and they're searching for someone who's gone missing in India. And yeah, so it's a journey through India in the 1800s, and it's described as sort of an adventure style Sherlock Holmes book. And yeah, really fancy that one, so that went on the I'd like to have that one pile. The next book she chose for me, because I mentioned I like Shakespeare, and she bought Station 11. This is a dystopian book about the end of the world, I believe, or a lot of people have died, and a group of actors or travelling group of people are putting on Shakespeare plays. And yeah, absolutely loved it. And then somebody else in the shop also saw I was looking at that, and they recommended it as well. And I've seen it on Booktube as well, and got good reviews. And the blurb is, one snowy night in Toronto, a famous actor dies on stage whilst performing the role of a lifetime. That evening a deadly virus touches down in America, and the world will never be the same again. 20 years later, a travelling group of actors perform Shakespeare in the settlements that have grown up since the collapse. So yeah, dystopian future Shakespeare. Probably not something I would have picked if I was browsing on my own, but she picked this for me, and I think it's going to be perfect for me. Third book is called The Devil in the Marshalsea by Antonia Hodgson. This is an historical mystery set in London in 1727 in the Marshalsea debtors' prison. So this is a mystery set in the prison, and the Marshalsea is a dark and dangerous place, and when an inmate is brutally murdered, the whole prison is gripped with fear and suspicion. And worst of all, Tom, I'm assuming the hero or the detective of this book, is sharing the cell with the prime suspect. So it sounds very atmospheric, quite thrillerish. Probably not something I would have picked up on my own. So this is a book I'm sure I will enjoy. Now the fourth book I've never heard of. I've not even heard of the author. but I'm really excited to read this. And this is Anne Holt 1222. This was originally published in Norway and has been translated into English, and it is a crime drama set in Norway with touches of Jeffrey Deaver and Agatha Christie, which is why I think she picked it for me. So this is, so the 1222 of the title is, this is set 1222 meters above sea level, and a train is caught in a snowstorm. The passengers have to abandon the train and they find shelter in a mountain hotel. But then in the morning, one of the passengers is found murdered. So you can see that this is got Agatha Christie written all over it. Murder on the Orient Express, a snowbound hotel, one of the guests is murdered overnight, lots of suspects. As soon as she started reading this, I knew I had to read this, and I've never heard of Anne Holt before, but this sounds absolutely brilliant. So the next book is, again, a bit of a departure, not something I would normally go for, and it is a sci-fi book, and it is China Miéville and the City and the City. And this is a sci-fi fantasy detective book, and I believe it is two cities, but they share the same space and time, but just slightly separated by something, I'm not quite sure what. And when a murder occurs in one of the cities, the detective team have to travel between realities to solve it. Yeah, not really quite sure any more than that. I've heard the name China Miéville go around on Booktube a few times and people seem to like him. Not something I would normally pick up, but the way she described it to me, yeah, sold it to me. Next one is a very different book, and this is called Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. Now, the way she described this book was wonderful, and it is a 24-hour bookstore, and one of the owners who works the night shift in the bookstore gets some strange requests, and they suddenly realise that they're looking for a secret code which is buried deep inside the bookstore, and the owner is friends with somebody who works for Google, and so they try and use the power of Google to try and crack the code and find whatever it is these people are looking for. So this is a book all about books and bookstores, and I'm sure I'm going to find that one fascinating. So that would have been my £45 voucher, so I could have stopped there, and there were, like I say, a dozen other books that I could have taken, but I had to have one more, and this one is a sci-fi, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, and she described this as a good place to start if you don't read sci-fi. She came up with a term, you've heard of cozy mysteries. Well, they've come up with a term in the shop for sort of light-hearted sci-fi, and it's called space snuggles. And this is a space snuggle. So it's a light-hearted, easy read, sort of sci-fi adventure. It's about a group of people on a spaceship called the Wayfarer, and they are travelling to a distant planet to make a new home. And that's all you really need to know. Then it's all about the characters that are on that ship and how they interact with each other, all different species. And it's just a light-hearted space romp, a space snuggle. I'm going to enjoy that one as well. So that was my book spa, and it was wonderful. I spent about an hour and a half there talking about books, and they're extremely knowledgeable in this bookstop. They read books for a living, basically, and then they will recommend those books to the customers. A wonderful little store tucked down in a little side alley in Bath. So I fully recommend if you're in Bath, go and visit the bookshop and just have a browse. If you know someone who loves reading, you can buy them a reading spa and have personalised recommendations given you, or you can just buy it for yourself. So let me know, was there any books in that book spa that you've read, or any authors that you've read that you would recommend? So let me know, talk to me in the comments, and I'll see you all in my next video. Thank you for watching.